Hey, BBN. Deron Rippey Jr. visited Texas. Is this a team that could threaten the Wildcats recruiting? Does Pope need to be on alert? Let's reflect on this. Deron Rippey Jr.'s visit to Texas adds a new layer to the recruiting race that inevitably involves Kentucky basketball. The five-star point guard from Blair Academy isn't just another name on a national scene, but rather an immediately impactful talent capable of making a difference on a team. It's natural that Mark Pope and his staff are monitoring every step of this process closely, although the news also needs to be viewed from a positive perspective for the Wildcats. Texas's declared interest, evidenced by Sean Miller's statement proposing that Rippey arrived to assume not only a starting role, but also a leadership role, shows how the Longhorns see the player as a central piece of their development. This aggressive recruiting approach is typical of programs seeking to establish themselves among the elite, but it doesn't necessarily mean Kentucky is at a disadvantage. On the contrary, the ability to attract competition for athletes of this magnitude only reinforces how much the Wildcats remain the center of attention when it comes to future talent. Rippey's visiting history also reveals that the process is far from complete. He's already been to Miami, North Carolina, and Louisville, and Syracuse is still on his agenda. This schedule indicates two important things. First, that Rippey and his family want to thoroughly explore all options, and second, that there's room for programs with a long history like Kentucky to present themselves not only as a showcase, but also as a safe choice in terms of development and future prospects. If I'm not mistaken, he could appear before the Wildcats on October 7th or 8th. Mark Pope's work since taking over in Lexington has demonstrated precisely this: consistency and strategic vision. The game philosophy, based on a modern system and reliance on young talent, creates the ideal environment for point guards like Rippey to flourish. If Texas promises immediate prominence, Kentucky offers a broader package, combining national visibility, unparalleled tradition, and a recent history of growth under renewed leadership. It's true that Pope needs to be alert. The competition is real. The rivals are formidable, and the message of "come and be a leader from day one" appeals to any player. But what makes Kentucky's position solid is the credibility built over decades of history, and more recently, the energy of a program that is effectively reorganizing itself. Rippey, when evaluating his options, will have before him not only proposals, but also context, and this is where the Wildcats can gain an advantage. The visit to Texas shouldn't be seen as a direct threat, but as part of a natural process in which five-star talents carefully evaluate each project. For Kentucky, the message is clear: stay strong in recruiting, maintain closeness, and demonstrate that Rippey would not only be a starter, but part of a winning team. The arrival of a new Kentucky basketball season is always a special moment for fans, and the transition to accelerated training brings with it an interesting excitement. Starting Monday, the intensity of preparation takes on a new level, with the NCAA allowing up to 20 hours of countable activities, or CARAs, as they're known in sports jargon, per week. For a team that carries the weight of expectations like few others in the college scene, this change represents more than just an increase in work hours. It's the beginning of a new chapter in the pursuit of excellence. Mark Pope, at his helm, demonstrated not only tactical vision, but also impressive sensitivity in managing the mental and physical well-being of the players during this crucial period. Before embarking on this new, more demanding phase, he granted the team 3 consecutive days of rest. This strategic decision not only allows the athletes to recharge, but also reflects a deep understanding of the importance of balancing effort and recovery. Colin Chandler, for example, took advantage of the break to visit Disney World, demonstrating that even amid the pressure of competition, there's room for light-hearted moments. On the other hand, athletes like Otega Owa, who is still recovering from a toe injury, and Jalen Lowe, who recently struggled with an illness, were able to use this time to get back into their groove. This individualized care for each player is a clear sign that Pope is building something sustainable, focused on both immediate success and long-term performance. Big Blue Madness, scheduled for October 11th, will be the highlight before the official start of unrestricted practices on October 14th. For Kentucky fans, it's a unique celebration where the hopes and dreams of the upcoming season begin to take shape. And this year, the atmosphere feels particularly vibrant. With Pope, there's a sense of renewal and purpose. He's brought with him an innovative approach, combining rigorous discipline with a culture of mutual support. This is already beginning to be felt behind the scenes, with positive reports coming from observers at informal workouts. While challenges certainly lie ahead, adjusting to the new schedule and integrating key players like OO will be significant tests. Every indication is that Kentucky is in good hands. The way Mark Pope has led the preparations thus far suggests he is shaping a team that is not only technically strong, but also resilient and united. This combination is essential to face the inevitable adversities of a season as competitive as college basketball. The coming months promise to be exciting, as players increase their training load and approach Big Blue Madness. The collective energy within the program grows exponentially. If there's one thing that defines Kentucky basketball, it's its ability to reinvent itself while keeping the flame of tradition alive. With strong leadership, a talented group, and an environment that prioritizes both physical and mental health, this season has all the ingredients to be the way Kentucky wants it to be. According to recent analyses by experts like Terrence Oglesby and John Fana of the respected field of 68, this year's squad not only has the potential to be competitive, but also to contend for Kentucky's 9th national title. All of this, of course, starts with two names that are on everyone's lips, Jalen Lowe and Otega Owa. It's impossible to discuss Kentucky's new additions without highlighting these two key figures. Lowe, a transfer from Pitt after a remarkable season in which he was named to the All-ACC third team, arrives with the responsibility of being one of the pillars of the Wildcats defense. His playmaking ability and versatility have already caught the attention of analysts and fans. However, what's most intriguing is how Lowe will adapt to his new role within Pope's system. In Pittsburgh, he was a key player and often found himself forced to carry the team on his shoulders. Now, in Lexington, Lowe will have a team around him that will relieve him of that pressure. This transition will be crucial, but both John Fonda and other experts seem confident that the young athlete is ready to thrive in this new dynamic. And then there's Otega Owa, whose name echoes even louder in the halls of Rupp Arena. Projected as a top contender for SEC Player of the Year even before the season started, Owa is the kind of player who transforms games with his physical presence and intangibles that go beyond statistics. He brings a rare defensive intensity to the table, combined with a keen instinct for finding space on offense. For Oglesby, the combination of Lowe and Owa is the perfect starting point for any discussion about the Wildcats' future. They're good enough to win a national title, he stated categorically, reinforcing the idea that this duo has everything it takes to lead Kentucky to the top. But, as always with elite teams, success doesn't depend solely on two stars. The team's balance as a whole will be crucial, especially when it comes to the front court, an aspect that still concerns Fanta. He acknowledges that Lowe and Owa's defensive prowess virtually guarantees Kentucky's continued presence, but questions how effectively the rest of the squad will be able to fulfill their roles. Denzel Aberdeen, Colin Chandler, and Jasper Johnson are names Rob Dosta mentions as key players in this process. They may not steal the headlines, but they will be crucial in providing consistency in crucial moments. Another interesting point raised by the experts is how Lowe and Owa will manage their individual journeys while helping to nurture the depth of Pope's squad. This is a team built with multiple layers of talent, and success will largely depend on how harmoniously these layers integrate. On paper, Kentucky possesses all the tools to be dominant, from defensive strength to offensive potential, but translating that onto the court requires chemistry and maturity. Fortunately, Mark Pope has demonstrated a remarkable ability to unite his players around clear goals, something that could make all the difference as the season progresses. Indianapolis, the site of next season's Final Four, remains a taboo subject for the Wildcats. 5 consecutive losses since 2018 and the bitter memory of the 2015 matchup against Wisconsin are not so good things for BBN's collective memory. If Lowe and Oa reach their full potential, Kentucky will not only make it to Indianapolis, but could lead with the most coveted trophy in college basketball. As Fonda said, if these two reach their peak, this will be a national championship caliber backcourt. With Lowe and Oa leading the way and a roster brimming with secondary talent ready to contribute, Kentucky appears to be building something special. Don't you think? Leave your comment.